Welcome to Geek Philosophy, where we love geeky wisdom. If you're new to the channel, my name's Brian, and if you're new to this live stream, this is the Guardians of Getica campaign setting for kids live stream. We've been working on this for quite a while now. We're inching closer to the point where we're going to launch a crowdfunding campaign to actually make this a reality, but we've been working quite a bit, and if you've been with us during this whole time, you've had access to all of this material to use in your own home games, which is great. If you're brand new, then welcome, and if you join the playtest, you'll have free access to all the playtest materials as we've been iterating through this whole process of putting together both the campaign setting and some adventures for it and everything in between. We've been kind of working through, well, we even put together a rule set that we can use as a supplement to the setting. So if you don't already have a role-playing game rule set that you love, then you can use this one. We call it Lore Keeper. It'll be released for free regardless of what we do with the campaign setting. But yeah, this is what we're doing. I'm kind of picking up where we left off a little bit from last week. But then I'm going to take a little bit of a left turn and show you an update to a couple things that we've been working on. They're still not in a final product yet. They haven't reached their final form, but we'll get there eventually. But they're in a place where we can release some things. So if you're joining us live, then jump into the chat and head into the comments and type away so that you can share your thoughts on how things are going from your perspective and at your table. If you're joining us after this is over and you're watching this video on demand, thanks for doing that also. But you can always have a comment that you leave in the video description and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. But at least you can share how things are going. We've had quite a bit of interaction with this from people really all over the world that have been touching this. And I'm not saying that there's millions all over the world doing this, but there are quite a few sporadically spread out throughout the globe. But it's kind of, a little bit of awe-inspiring. Got to take a step back and pinch yourself a little bit to know that there are others out there playing the stuff that you came up with at your own house. So I appreciate that. Thank you for everybody that has been giving it a shot. Let me check the chat, see who we've got. As always, we've got Crystal and Ethan. So thank you again for joining us. And they are really the unsung heroes of all this stuff because they've been putting up with me during playtesting and helping me with things. So they have been seeing firsthand how much stuff changes, especially with how many different characters, well, the same character, but how many different times they've had to make it and play it to make it work in the setting. So a big thank you to them. And then as we go through some of this stuff, I'm going to be reiterating some things that if you've been with us for a while, you may already know. So bear with me. But if you haven't, and this is your first time catching this, I want to make sure that you feel like you're not being left in the dark with some of this stuff. So let me check again. Hey, Ben, greetings from the UK. Thank you very much. Greetings from here in the States as well. Good to have you back. I know I got the link up kind of late, so I'm glad that the alerts are working. So thanks for everybody bearing with me on that. Great, so I'm going to jump in. I don't know if we're going to have as long of a live stream as we normally do, so I want to make sure that I get a chance to cover everything I'd like to. But if you have thoughts as we go, please add them in the comments. So a couple things. One, I owe a adventure. This is the Masquerade Mischief at Alder's Point. We worked on this a little bit last session. For those of you that didn't get a chance, this is a pretty much system agnostic setting. So it's a system agnostic adventure. There's no real 5e stats or anything like that baked into the adventure. The idea is to give you just enough that you can take it and run with it for whatever system that you're using, and really whatever setting that you're using. This is just set in the Guardians of Getica setting. So join the playtest. You'll have the email go out Friday-ish this week to include the link to this, but then you'll also, if you join, get all the backlog of stuff that we have in the folder. So you get a link to the folder and then everything that's in there. And then this is sort of the way it's run from my perspective with these Guardians of Getica adventures. We are focusing on kids as the heroes, although, for those of you that don't know, the Guardians of Getica are an organization within the campaign world that fight the Frights, and the Frights are mischief-causing entities. They're also the big bad monsters of the realm for the Guardians and for the kids in the adventures. That doesn't mean that there aren't high stakes. Here's the thing. The only people that can actually perceive the Frights or, see what's actually going on with them, the truth of it, are kids and elders. So there's this middle state of being basically 18 to whatever you consider elder years that forget about the Frights. They don't really perceive them any longer. So the kids and the elders are working together, and it's a cover identity. This Guardians of Getica is sort of like a scouting organization, a youth organization. It's part of the Royal Academy, so it's also in some ways a military school if they end up going into the Royal Army or military. So it's a lot of different things as a cover. So they're going on field trips and adventures as you would, but they're really out there saving the realm. So the way that these adventures are really set up are a mission briefing from the perspective of those that are in the know. And then I give a little bit of information about the atmosphere, what's going on in that setting, in that specific adventure. Some role-playing opportunity notes, like how you might be able to insert some things that are attention grabbers for the people that are playing the game. Characters, NPCs, events, things like that that may be great opportunities for role-playing. And then I do it in sort of a 3-act structure. So you've got, and this is really basic. For this one, it's really slimmed down. So we've got Act 1, just a simple paragraph here. It'll be fleshed out a little bit more when I release it to everybody. Act 2, this is the main goal they're trying to really achieve. And then Act 3, it kind of wraps up for them. They're going into all of their shenanigans with the idea that it's going to work out, hopefully. And then they return back. So every one of these, and this is, again, really, really short and brief. Some of these are longer. But you have mission briefing. What's the atmosphere like? What's the feeling like of the realm? Because it's really a feel to it that we're trying to get across, because it is sort of trying to triumph over one's fears and things like that. Role-playing opportunities, and then again at the end they come back to debrief their mission, so it can be done as a one-shot, each one of these. Now, that doesn't mean you can't spread these out and connect them and make an entire campaign. My thought is, if I make them designed to be one-shots, that when you have a different group of players each time, it won't matter. You can have a different group of Guardians, old comic book style of whichever Avengers are available, they go on the mission, right? So, or X-Men, fill in your favorite superhero team. So this is sort of where we're going with this, but then it doesn't mean you can't connect them. Or if it takes longer than expected, make it a 2-part mission, whatever you have to do. But this is something that we put together a little bit last time. The idea is having an analog of Halloween. So they're actually going through and doing Moonlight Quest, which is the kids dress up as heroes and adventurers of this realm, and they get treats as they go visit people. And the Frights in this case are masquerading as kids that are going around and doing Moonlight Quest. So they're trying to find the Frights that are hiding as kids, identify them without causing a big ruckus. They don't want to have everything fall apart and it ruin the holiday and the fun for them. So this is a little bit tricky, because it's not just a big battle that they've got to do. They've got to figure out how do they fix this situation without causing everybody to really have no fun. So interesting. It's a fun time of year to do this. So hopefully it'll go out and it'll be ready for you by the weekend. So let's see. Our next session is scheduled for October 28th, so I'm definitely planning to run a version of the Masquerade. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that. Let me know how that goes. It's great to be able to have some play testing of this and do it your own way, right? Like, don't do it the way I wrote it. This is just a starting point. You do it your way. And we've got Drew. Good evening, Drew. Welcome back to the chat. Always good to have you. Again, apologies for the late notification on this one. So I'm glad they are working so you guys can see when I go live. So that's a little bit about what we did last time. It's a little bit about the setting. Now I want to explain something again for those of people that are watching it for the first time, but it's also a good segue to give those of you that have been around for a while watching this a little bit of an update. So the idea was originally I was going to be putting together a setting like most settings that you had. It was a campaign setting book that detailed, here are the different if you're doing 5e, here are the different backgrounds, here are the different types of characters that you can play, here are the locations, here are some maps, here's all the things that you would expect out of the setting, and the lore that goes along with all of that stuff. And what we're going to produce is going to have those things. But the idea is now, especially over the last several weeks, almost months now, that we're going to have it be sort of an annotated artifact, meaning it will be some sort of collection of what would be real world things for them. So it could be a scrapbook of, the Royal Academy brochure. It could be parts of their own journal logs written from their perspective. And then annotations, like if it's written by someone, if a part is written by someone that does not understand what the frights are, then the Guardians will go in and put annotations to tell the truth. So it just feels like a better way to capture the attention of the reader. It makes it something that people will actually want to sit down and read as a campaign setting guide, except for or besides the DM or the GM. And I hope that it'll bring people in and it'll teach a little bit about what the setting is over time rather than doing this information dump and then hoping that everybody remembers stuff as you're trying to play the game. Again, this is for kids and also for elders, so we want to make sure that we're balancing information with fun. So here is, let me go back over here. So, hello. I'm just, it always warms my heart to see how happy everybody is to see everybody. And well, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I am doing great. It's great to have you in the chat again. So, okay, no more holding us off. I have an update on the site. We are at a point now where all of you that have seen the preview of the site can now start sharing it because it no longer has. It still has some placeholder images, but the placeholder images are at least created by me or an artist that is working with me. So we can now actually go share this with people and get the word out, and this will be happening soon. Let me go back over real quick, not to delay this, but very well indeed, trying to work out whether the new Fandelver book is right for my other. Oh yeah. No, I'm interested in that too. So I'm maybe on the main part of the Geek Philosophy channel. I'm hoping to dive into that. So let me know what you think, Ben, because I really like Lost Mine of Fandelver as a game. I think they did a great job with it. So I'm curious to see how this new version that expands it is going to work out. So I'll let you know what I think once I get a chance to review it. So thanks for bringing that up. Okay. Guardians of Getica.com will take you to the Nexus board for the Royal Academy. What is a Nexus board, you ask? I'm glad you asked. A Nexus board is in-game, in the campaign world, a bulletin board, a trading post board that is enchanted to have messages mystically appear, have interaction that you can have happen with it. It's the "you are here" board at the mall. It's all of the things that you would like. And in our world, it's a website. So this kind of serves as an analog to what a Nexus board would be like in their world. So if you venture into town and you wanted to find out more about this Royal Academy, you could walk up to it. You could even ask questions. You could do things in the game world. In our world, you just click, point, and or tap on screen, right? So Royal Academy site is up. It's running. It's still basically similar to what you've seen before. We have a Royal Academy crest. Notice that I didn't put the Getica Royal Academy because I want it to be something that, even though we know it's set in Getica, in your own campaign, even though we're saying some things there, I didn't want it to be out in front, that you couldn't have it be in whatever kingdom you want it to be. So here we are. Artwork has been updated. It's not my placeholder art that I created. The idea is Carrie, who is our lead designer on this, we went with more of a hand-drawn line art sketch type version for most of the art, to kind of quickly go through and put this together. I say quickly, he's the artist, but that's his words. The reason being is we want to allude to the fact that people in game are going to be drawing their characters and stuff. They're going to be maybe drawing frights that they come across. So having something that looks a little bit more hand drawn kind of builds into the whole feel. So the whole site's not that way, but where we have images with some people and some characters, we wanted to look as if it feels like it's being drawn by someone. So we've got our front page with teachers, curriculum, and amazing students. Our messages from the headmaster. Again, we've got our seal. Now when we go to our courses, you'll see there's my favorite character, because he was one of my actual characters that got turned into an NPC. But anyway, that's the behind the scenes of it. But Artemis, his little sketch portrait here, and his letter introducing, hey, here's those of you that are thinking about the Royal Academy, here's what our academics are like, and here's what the guild apprenticeship is like. So you get hands-on training and all these things that your character in game would learn. You would learn things like all of those skill proficiencies. If you're doing I'll just stick with 5e, it's easy to talk about. All of those things can be gained here. This could be the beginning background that you use for your character as you move forward, right? Military preparation, you do all of that stuff to work and have a reason for being able to train and gain skills. I would also loop in, casting into this as well. It doesn't have to be just physical stuff or martial stuff. We have iconography that kind of represents things. These are similar to what badges might be for the Guardians. I have some examples of badges a little bit later, but these may end up becoming Guardian badges. You may wonder why this one is Guild Apprenticeship, because of the Agriculture and Farming Guild. You may have people that are going off and learning how to do things in the field or to actually plant crops. We've got Guardians. Our Guardian Spear that's there. Then we have Terrence Ulbrich, who is one of the elders that's come back after 40 years. Doesn't look a day over probably, whatever this Fey folk age is. But, just to give sort of a feel for, hey, it's been a while since I've graduated. And looking forward to the new apprentices and the Guardians and the elders. Some sample badge looking things that we may be able to do. So apprentice, guardian, and elder, talking a little bit about what those different categories are. Use them as you wish in your game, whether you want this to be an equivalent to your kids that are playing or whatever it might be. You can decide how that works. You can also use it as a leveling mechanic with the badges. We'll talk about that when we get to badges. We can show a little bit more. And then, sort of more of the cover identity. So this is all just trying to spread the word about, number one, what the setting is, but also in-game it tells all of those potential guardians and parents of the guardians what this all looks like. Then we've got our adventures. Again, we've got Professor Dellin Stout. I love how Carrie can take something that I built with an actual tool and take it and just run with it and make it look almost like what I had in my brain. It's pretty crazy. So then we've got, this is where we're posting really ideas for adventures. So when this is up and running and live on this, we'll be able to say, this is the cover story for the adventure. When they click it, they'll get something closer to this with a little bit more detail of what the behind the scenes are from a game mechanic perspective. But we'll have these in the, each one of these posts give you a chance to go do something fun, and you can, just see how these all kind of turn out in game. Then, last but not least, all of the while, like at the bottom of the pages, you probably notice that we've got these "Want to be a Guardian" or the "Join Us" at the top, and this is us being able to collect their email so that we can send them out updates on here's what we're doing, we're getting closer to launch, all that kind of stuff. You guys know how mailing lists work. It's really just a way for us to keep people updated about what's going on and hopefully build up the anticipation a little bit for being able to launch this. At the end of the day, and this is stuff that nobody that ever runs these things likes to talk about, but the truth is, in order to get something made well, you have to pay to get it made well. And the way to do that is to get funding from those that are willing to buy whatever that product is. You guys know how that stuff works. The biggest thing for us is going to be just spreading the word, right? So we'll be making sure that this goes out and other people get a chance to see it, and those that are interested can kind of dive in and hopefully sign up. The other, I don't like to just do this without people getting things. So the fact that they're going to have access to all of this material that's in process and that we're working on from a playtest material standpoint and adventures is I think a big thing. We want to make sure that we're giving them something even just for their email address. I hate just signing up for lists and then you don't get anything other than people bugging you with emails. So I've actually gone the wrong route and done less emails because I've been working on this stuff. So this is now the time where I can really start picking up on what I send out because I have a landing page that works. Nobody wants to hear about the business stuff. I just wanted to keep you updated on the project and a little bit of what the progress is. So this is more of a passion project. It's more a labor of love than anything else. This is not my gig, right? Like, so this is just something that I want to do to have some fun, give some people a chance to play in a setting that I think is pretty cool. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But this is live, so guardiansgetica.com. You can share this with your friends and see if they're interested. I know some of you have also been, sharing even just our live streams, which is great. And we've had a couple of people join these sessions. So speaking of, let me jump over. Loving the website Wevolution. Exactly. The Wevolution is coming along. I'm really fortunate here, right? Like I don't say enough about the help I'm getting. You guys know about Crystal and Ethan and just living in our house and testing all this stuff. But my friend who is my longtime gaming partner, best friend for years and years and years, Carrie, who's been working on a lot of this stuff with me, in addition to being, very talented at what he does in his day job, he was also a web designer. He is still an artist. He still sells art and does commissions for characters and wands. Yes, he makes actual physical wands, but he's done a bunch of people's, you know what? Let me see if I can find it. I hate talking about something and not being able to show you, so just in case. Now, don't hit him with too much stuff, but I bet he was smart enough and early enough. He did. All right, so here we go. Here's his actual website in case you're interested. And this is, it's like this motion thing in the background. It's really cool, and to see the spooky. I'm gonna call her a fright just because that's the theme in the background and the trees. This is his original illustration work. We've been to MegaCon with him, so he does heraldry. We'll probably see some of this when we get in there. He's on Etsy, so you can do custom heraldry for some things, which is great. And I will likely be borrowing a lot of heraldry. Not borrowing, I'll hire him to do character design and heraldry for stuff. And you've seen him his effect already with what we've done so far, but here's something that is interesting. So here's his wands that he makes. So there's a lot of Harry Potter fans still out there, and they want their own custom-made wand. He actually turns these and hand sculpts them with wood and all that kind of stuff. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but my favorite stuff is cartography. This is the world, no kidding, that we built together. Well, it's really his world, but this is the campaign, the first campaign world. This is pre-Ventus, pre-Guardians of Getica. This is Abris, that he's done all this. I can't zoom in enough to show you all of the cities and cultures and everything else, but this was where we started back in the day with hand-drawn maps, and he's since gone and done all these things. But not only, my friends, has he done it that way, he has political and weather maps showing where things come through. I mean, we're talking, you know, we're talking big deal map design. So we have someone that can help with this stuff. It's pretty great to have a friend that is so talented that can help with this stuff. His CSO studio named after his kids. But yeah, if you want to check out any of his stuff, he also I think he does like some mugs and stuff. So these are his D&D kids that he did. Anyway, this was one of the things that got me thinking, let's do some Guardians of Getica stuff. We're not sure if this is the art style we're going with, although I really love this. I'm trying to find a middle ground that'll work, but you kind of get the feel for it. So not a commercial for him. It's just he's working on the project, so you can see that he's got some experience. He does some really great stuff, and hopefully it'll give you a feel for where we're hoping to go. So the fact that he can crank out some of these, like he did, I think most of these he was able to catch up over the weekend and get these ready for me. That lets us know that when we need to start moving into some things that need to take a little bit more time, we need to make sure that we can let them take some time and get some stuff done. But yeah, love the work so far. All right, let me head back over. Yeah, well, I was right. He's yeah. All credit goes to him. And then I also have to mention this too, like, this is a really great example. I'm going to jump back over. Let me just say this for everybody. This is a great example, Abris, of why Guardians of Getica as a concept can be something that lasts forever. So Carrie and I met in 8th grade because our last names were right next to one another in the alphabet. I sat, in our class, we were sat in alphabetical order. And we had a thing that it was in our history class where our history teacher said, hey, turn around, first person in the row, turn around to the second person, and so on. And I want you to interview the person sitting there and, introduce yourself. And it was sort of an icebreaker activity, and that's how we met. And within a week, we were talking comic books. We were heading over to each other's house. We were riding our bikes to the comic book store. And then at the comic book store, we saw the D&D books over there, and I had played and he never had. And he'd seen them, and then we started talking and we started playing D&D, and then pretty much from 8th grade on, been friends ever since. And then, went our own ways for a lot of different things. But my point is, if that world, and this is the beauty of D&D or other just role-playing games in general, is that when your imagination can help build something, we really started, it's not even on here right now, we started in a little area called Simpac that was in right here in Oakdale. There it is. You can't see it, but it's right there in the middle. You can't even see my mouse, I don't think, but it's right in this section. And that was just a little town that I made, and then it just grew out from there. and it grew out from there, and it grew out from there. And then he would do stuff on his own, and I would do stuff on his own. And then he really took this and ran with it over the years and expanded it out and all this stuff. The point is, if you've got a multi-generational campaign setting where you can start with young kids playing and learning how to play in a very rules-light system, they grow up, maybe they start playing D&D 5e, maybe they start, 6th or 7th edition by then, who knows, maybe they start playing Pathfinder, maybe they start playing some other role-playing game, and they're old enough to handle different themes and different types of campaign settings. And then, they have kids and they pass it on, and they, this whole cycle. But at some point, when you want to play with kids again, you can dust off your old Guardians characters, and all of this, by the way, can happen in the same world. You can have all of these Guardian adventures happening alongside or within, because they're in the secret world that they're the heroes in, and it's happening within this whole world. So Guardians of Getica could exist in Abris. Guardians of Getica could exist in the Forgotten Realms. It could exist in Dragonlance. It could exist in whatever setting you like. Conceptually, this is one of those things that really, I think, helps, just bring it all together. So let me go back over the chat. Yeah, and a Carrie interview video for Geek Philosophy channel, absolutely. If I can talk them into doing that. Some of you that have been with us since the very early days, Carrie was part of our live streams when we were live streaming our Relics of the Ancients campaign. So if you've seen those, you've seen Carrie on stream. But again, those were the very early days of the channel. So you can tell, he's been playing with us for quite a bit. Also played a wizard in that game. So he's been my lifelong player, almost every campaign that I've run, with the exception of a few here at the house with the family. All right, let me give you guys a little chance to talk. I'm going to take a breath here. Oh, I love that. Getica into the Menagerie. That's great. Such a great way to do that. Like, it would be amazing for, I would love to see how the Critical Role crew, when their kids are playing, if they're able to put them in a game of Guardians of Getica within, and then maybe do a retroactive, like, wouldn't it be cool if Percy starts to become awakened again and remember his previous adventures back before all the trouble with his family went down? Anyway, that's a whole other. But I mean, there's so many options, right? Like you can even retroactively make an existing character a guardian they don't remember. So any character, when they get old enough, could end up being a guardian. That's the beauty of this. The elders, it's perfect for that, right? Like you can say, oh, my character's, he's going to be retiring now. And then all of a sudden, is he really retired? Is she really retired? Are they really retired? Is it something that they can go, oh, something's coming back to me now. Let me go and do this whole other new set. Well, is it a new set of adventures? Or is it the same adventures that I just didn't remember? Yeah, it's really kind of an intriguing thing. Like you can really kind of take it to a lot of different places. All right, so that's kind of my update for today, guys. I know it wasn't a ton of new stuff. I just wanted to check in with you, let you know that we've got this. It was really, I was holding back on doing any of this stuff for a little bit because I needed to get this to a point where I can go. And to be honest, this isn't even, again, final state yet. This is probably going to be updated. I made some adjustments to this just so I can get this thing rolling for today and start sharing things out. Carrie's probably going to take a look at it and go, no, I'm going to fix it again. So it might even look better as time goes on, but I think it looks pretty darn good right now. So we can run with it and then just make it better as time goes on. So this is going to be the landing page for everybody wanting to find out more about Guardians of Getica. It's our place. Like if you're wanting to share some things, you can go with it. I also, we have this whole live stream of a backlog of videos if people really want to dive in and see where we're going with stuff. But just by signing up, they're going to get access to all of our playtest material. Basically what I'm doing is, instead of just having the playtest packets going out as a link, the link that you get now when you sign up is a link that goes to a folder that has all the previous playtest packets. In my next mailing list newsletter about this, I'll put the link there too for all of you that have already signed up, just to make it easy. So that way it's you can bookmark the link, and then you'll always have the latest and greatest information. But this has everything back from playtest 1 all the way to the 3rd one that we did, with all of the rule set stuff, all the character design stuff, all the adventure stuff. I'll be adding to this this weekend, sending out the newsletter, and then yeah, you'll be able to access all this along with everybody else that starts. So I think this is a good way to make sure that everybody get a chance to see how things have grown from the beginning, but also there's stuff that I don't want to throw out. Like, there's stuff that we wrote way back in playtest 1 that if you're playing 5e, I wrote stuff and put levels. If you guys remember, I'm sure you do, Keeper had different levels, and it was kind of a 5e based thing. We had some pre-gens, and this is really usable still. Like, it still works. We just went the route of being system agnostic. But for people that love playing 5e, it's already here. Why not use it? So I still want this to be available for anybody that you know, signed up and took the time to do the playtest. So all this stuff is here, and you'll be able to, you know, keep that when you keep going. So all right, I think that's it. So, well, let me just leave it on this one. Join the playtest if you're watching this and you haven't already. I want to keep everybody up to date. I want you guys to have some resources that you can use, and yeah, let's turn this into something that we can all be proud of. All right, I hope everybody has a great evening, afternoon, morning, depending on wherever you are and whenever you're watching this. We'll catch you next time, and I'll keep in touch with the newsletter. So thanks everybody, take care.